Hello, my name is Haley, and today I will be reviewing The Catcher in the Rye written by J.D. Salinger. In summary, The Catcher in the Rye follows Holden Caulfield, a 16-year-old who gets kicked out of his university, as he deals with depression and the aftermath of his choices. The author highlights events in his life that have impacted him, as well as the way he perceives the world around him. One of these events is the death of his younger brother Ali, whose baseball glove Holden keeps with him. He often looks back at the various quotes and poetry that his brother once left as he reminisces. On the other hand, he dislikes the thought of his older brother, DB, writing in Hollywood. He believes that all of the folks in Hollywood are phonies and that his older brother is wasting his talent. Part of me believes this, while the other part of me believes that it's a bit of jealousy. He also speaks a lot about his younger sister, Phoebe, gloating about her talent and cherishing her innocence. She resembles youthful innocence, who is untouched by the cruelties of the world in this novel. Throughout the novel, Holden's innocence is slowly diminished as he wanders the streets of New York, catching crummy cabs and staying in musty hotels with sketchy figures. He bar hops and picks up his old habits of aggressively smoking as he slips into depression. This excessive drinking and smoking resembles carelessness for one's own well-being and serves as an escape to numb the pain. He goes so far as to hire a prostitute to talk to since he has no one else. This event showed his desperacy to feel loved and listened to again. Everything around him becomes depressing, and suddenly he is never in the right mood for anything. He decided to say his last goodbye to his sister. As he confronted her with this, she became extremely reluctant. He took her to the zoo and then watched her on the carousel, which made his heart flutter with joy. This moment led him to realize that he could not leave Phoebe, so after much contemplation, Holden decided to return home instead of moving out west. This was also the moment that I was begging him to stay, since I'm a younger sister and my heart would break if my brother decided to abandon me at a young age. The author then reveals that he is writing from a mental hospital, and after he leaves this hospital, he will go to another private school. The title stems from his dream to have a job of catching kids falling off a cliff who are playing in a field of rye. He's trying to save the kids so that they do not fall down the same path as he did. Although I liked the book overall, I did get bored of the plot towards the middle of the book when he is constantly bar hopping and making no progress towards going home. I would have liked to see him go home sooner or have more of a precursor to him getting kicked out instead of so much time spent in New York bumming around. The final result of the plot was not satisfying to me, and it seemed like Holden is back where he started, leaving his mental stability destined to falter. I was pleased to see him get the help he needs, but putting him back into the environment that caused his original mental health issues will only cause him to spiral once again. This book shines a light on teenagers who are facing various emotions as they grow up. It speaks about topics that may be seen as insensitive and allows teenagers alike to feel heard. We are just beginning to open up about mental health in our society, so there are still some sore spots that are avoided. J.D. Salinger was not afraid to raise his voice on this topic, which is something that I appreciate and applaud. There have been arguments over whether this book is appropriate or not for school curriculum, partly because of the harsh language the author uses on every page. This is accurate to the character, but can scare away possible readers, so it may have been beneficial for him to cut some of it out. I found the voice of the novel to be engaging, and it was extremely fitting to the character, but I also found it to become predictable. Part of me liked this because I felt like I knew the character personally, but another part of me felt bored by the repetitive nature of his writing style. I felt like he could have filled the space where Holden rambled with descriptive literary devices instead that enhanced the imagery and deepened the mood. The theme of depression, innocence, and growth are all relatable to someone my age, but Holden himself was not the most relatable character. He grows up to going to a private school and continues to go to private schools as he flunks out of each one. He admits to not caring nor trying because he does not see the point and thinks that just like the people in Hollywood, they're all phonies. This is something that I found frustrating, since I've gone to public school my entire life and I had a hard time sympathizing with someone who was complaining about being given quality education. I do think this book suits young adults, but it is a valuable read for adults since it allows them to see another perspective. A book that reminds me of The Catcher in the Rye is the novel To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, since they share similar themes, some of these themes being the love between siblings, innocence, and personal growth. Overall, I would give this book a 6 out of 10. Thank you for listening.